Hello everyone. Today we're working on solving quadratic equations by rearranging and taking square roots. When should you use this method? When the equation is in vertex form and when the equation is in standard form with no bx term. Okay. And then how do we use this method? First thing we need to do is isolate the squared term. And then square root both sides. Remember that your answer will both be a positive and a negative. This is very important. And then you're going to solve for x. So let's take a look at this first one. Our first one is x minus 2 squared plus 9 equals 25. Well, the first thing I see is that I need to move this over. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. And so I still have my x minus 2 inside parentheses, and it's all squared, equals, and then 25 minus 9 is 16. Now what I want to do is I want to square root both sides. And remember, we said it was important that we're going to end up eventually with a positive and a negative, okay? So if I square root this, what's being squared inside the parentheses is now our answer. And the square root of 16 is a positive or a negative 4. I still don't have x by itself, and I need to solve for x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take x minus 2 equals, I'm going to do the positive 4 first, and then I'm going to take the x minus 2 equals the negative 4, because remember, these are both possible answers. So when I look at this, I'm going to add 2, x could equal 6. Or if I add 2, this becomes a negative 2. Or x could equal negative 2. And those are my answers when I solve a quadratic equation by rearranging. And that's what we've done. It's just we've rearranged. And then we square root, and then we found our values for our x so we can find our x-intercepts. All right, let's take a look at the next one. The next one is 4 times, inside parentheses, x minus 2 squared plus 9 equals 25. And again, I see that I have this c here, and I want to move it. So I'm going to subtract 9. So then I have 4 x minus 2 is squared equals 16. And I can't square root yet because this 4 is in the way. So I'm going to divide by 4 and divide by 4. Then I get x minus 2 squared equals 4. Well, I need to get this out of parentheses, and it's being squared. So I'm going to square root it and square root this. Because remember, what you do to one side, you do to the other. So this becomes x minus 2, and the square root of positive 4 is either a positive or a negative 2. Now we're going to solve to find our x-intercepts. We're going to do positive 2 on this one, and negative 2 on this one. If I add 2, x could be 4, and x could be 0. And those would be our two answers for this one. This one, I have x squared plus 64 equals 0. I want to get the x squared by itself, so I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides equals negative 64. Now remember, when we were talking yesterday, we were talking about the fact that you cannot have a square root of a negative number. This is not factorable. Or you cannot factor it. Okay, because this is a negative number. Even though 64, the square root of 64 is 8, I cannot find the square root of a negative number. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Your homework is the rest of the 9 questions on this page. Thank you.